All right. Welcome back for some real ass talk. Even though this is real talk corner, we're going to be reacting to some videos today. And today I just got like a bunch of random ones that we had looked at and kind of threw at each other from TikTok. I think on some other ones I'll get a little bit more savvy if we have like a theme, but I just grabbed like a bunch of them that are just outlandish any fucking way. And I was like, why not talk about this shit? So just I know last time I gave like a little intro of who I was. I don't know if you want to do that or not. That's up to you.
I mean, just me, Sabrina, co-hosting.
We will have this down. One we'll be doing this and then we'll have like a whole setup and it'll be all like scripted and shit, I guess. Um so
Just everything that's going on with the floor of the
right,
thing and all these politician shit. To me, a lot of people get caught up in how the person looks or what their race is.
right.
And the race don't have shit to do with their mentality or who they
No,
are as a person.
no,
Because they can be Puerto Rican, Hispanic, black, whatever. But if
right,
this dude thinks totally opposite, like
right,
let's just keep it about. If he thinks like the Caucasians, how
right.
he look don't got shit to do with nothing.
Right. But see, a lot of people don't do their research though. Like, and I think I'll find some videos so we can touch on it on another segment. But like the don't say gay bill, if people actually go look at the bill, it's not a don't say gay bill. It's the parents' rights bill. So people are running this story of the don't say gay. When you go look at the actual bill, because I was looking at, I have a channel that I'm gonna send the channel to you, where they're always debating this stuff. These people were sitting down like the parents' rights got taken away. You had teachers that were allowing children to go into the room, change their pronouns, and the parent never be told. You had
Mm,
teachers that have LGBT flags up, taking down United States flags, and teaching about sexual orientation in classes. You got
right.
teachers who have very explicit books about being gay in grade school. You know what I mean? It has no business there. These kids haven't even learned their normal biology, and you're
Mhm,
already teaching
right.
them. So that bill was like, no, parents have a right to know. You don't remember when your child went on a field trip and they brought home a
Permission
slip,
slips.
permission slip
Hmm.
that you had to sign? They stopped doing things like that. You know, when sex ed and you had to sign a permission slip for them
Hmm.
to do it, they stopped doing that. So these teachers have been just doing whatever the fuck they want to, and the parents don't know about it. And so this when the whole transgender thing started coming up, there was a girl who got molested or touched by one of these transgender kids. The father went to the school board meeting and well, I'm gonna get the clip. They arrested him and called him a terrorist because he was going off in the education, in the board meeting, and they didn't want him there. So they arrested him, threw him out, and he was just speaking for his daughter. Like, you guys knew about this shit. So there's a lot of undocumented incidents that are happening to people's children, and their parents are not being called. And so these teachers are taking it upon themselves to say, well, we want your child safe here, so we're going to allow your child to do whatever. Even to the fact of letting children, if I want to identify and be a furry, which is an adult sexual fantasy, okay? These kids are going to school being furries, barking, meowing, and shit like that. So it's the parents' rights bill, meaning that now the parents have the right to look at the school board money. Where's the money going? You guys are getting money. Where the fuck is it going? Because my kids can't read better. It's like, where's the money going? What are you guys spending it on? And what's the literature that you have?
Congress.gov yourself. You can look up the bill. You can look into what it's saying, what it's doing. You can read through it, and none of this says don't say gay. It all says about human rights as parents. And I think the states have their own right to dictate what they want to do with that. And so a lot of people are mad at that. So you can pause.
Now, there is the controversy about the books, because there were, I guess, a lot of the critical theory books that were taken out that kind of go into the Black heritage and things like that. That's where I kind of don't like, because a lot of shit got grouped in the same. But if you see some of those other books, they were very graphic and they were not appropriate for school children. I know that we want the kids to learn the real history of everything, but do we think a 5-year-old can understand and take on a gruesome history of rape, mutilation, and all of this shit? I understand we don't want them to learn about Columbus and be fucking celebrating that like it's some special day, but do you think a 7-year-old is going to understand a brutal background? That shit that you got to let this child grow up. And then, because I was in college when I had a history class that I found out the real deal behind the Indians and how, how it all happened. I was devastated in my 20s. That shit made me cry. I can't imagine a kid trying to wrap their mind around this shit.
Right.
I just think it's like, is it age appropriate? So when people, they're running around like, oh, my kids ain't safe. Nothing says that your child can't be gay. Nothing says that your child can't be transgender. Nothing says that they can't be proud of who they are. What it does is that now teachers don't have the right to hide this shit. Your kid can't just go to school and be whoever they want to be without you being notified. And I think as a parent, you have every right to know what your
Exactly.
child is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you got people like what's her name? Dwayne Wade and his wife that now are making it seem like it's a don't say gay bill. And that's not what it is.
Wow.
The agenda is twisting it to make it look like something else. But you got parents who, you got parents that are Jewish. We know Florida, I lived there for 13 years of my life. There's all types of different cultures. You cannot push your ideology on somebody else. So if someone who's Jewish and has a Jewish faith, you can't make them take on your gay, lesbian, or whatever the fuck else you want to believe in. And now their child has to believe in it. There was a father of an 8-year-old boy. He came home with homework, 8 years old. And the homework was like talking about a boy who wants to be a girl. And the father was like, what is this? What am I
Right.
supposed to do with this? This is a Jewish man who believes in his faith. They believe in men and women, and they don't even let men sleep in the same room. That's how, like, they're hardcore, like, no. You can't tell him that he's wrong for his beliefs. You could tell and teach your child, like, look, people are going to have other beliefs than us. And look, just let them have those beliefs. But you can't try to mold this person's kid into now taking on your belief system. And I think that's where the teachers have fucked up, because you have people who are still Christians who believe in Adam and Eve, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's something wrong with being gay or anything. For me, it's neither here nor there as adults, but I think children who believe in fucking Santa Claus shouldn't be making decisions like that.
No, I totally agree.
You can't even wipe your ass. How you making life-changing decisions over here? Like, and I always say the same thing. When I was 5, 6, 7, I would have been a Care Bear. I would have fucking been My Little Pony if I could. I would have ran off. Like, where's my unicorn? So when they're saying this is the problem with the news and the narrative. They keep teaching it, and until you go past the news and what the mainstream media is saying and social media, and you go look at the actual bills, you can look. It's all public. All anybody can do is just pull it up. Every bill that's passed, everything Congress has passed, it's all there, and it's there for you to see and read it. And when you start reading, you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't say that you can't be gay.
Right. This is not what they're advertising it to be. It's totally opposite,
Because I went to look, I was like, that don't even sound like Florida is the biggest state that's been LGBT friendly for fucking decades. You know what I mean? Like, you go there and it's like, it's kind of like all the gays went to Florida. Like, it's like, ain't no way that this just changed all of a sudden. And now it's like, don't say gay. Like, come on. And so it just made me kind of do my diligence and go, this is the problem. So it's not that it's don't say gay. It's more that parents' rights were taken away, and the disrespect as a parent to know that your child has been in school pretending to be other things, and you not knowing. What if there is something that you need to know about that behavior? What if there's something that's not okay with that behavior, with your religion, your belief system? And the teacher is like, well, in my class, they can be whatever the fuck they want to be.
And I mean, you got to think about it in that age group, children are following. So most of them, if they see their friend, their best friend is saying, oh, I'm identified, they now want to, they're children. That's what children do. So to me, the parents should be fully aware of those type of changes of that child, because 9 out of 10, that child is just following of what they just seen. That's all that is. And probably have no clue what it is, because you got to think about it. Every household is ran different. Right. So in one household, that child who may be saying, well, I want to be identified as this, may be around, people that are gay and this, and then your child who maybe have never been, but because that's their best friend and that's their classmate, that's their, that's their friend. They're like, oh, I am that same thing, So like, that is just ridiculous. I think anything that is a secret, or where a parent don't know what's going on and it's their child, it's something they birthed, and they're not aware of what's going on with what they birthed. That's to me just a non, like that. No one should ever agree to that. Like, That's
My
crazy.
my daughter was like 14, and some of her friends was wearing thongs. And I was like, "You not about to wear that.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck what they got on." I remember one of her, and you could see it because their skinny jeans at the time was so low that you could see the crack of their ass and they fucking thong hanging out. And I'm like, her fucking parents let her wear that shit? Like hell to the no. It's
Hmm.
just like, and not that my daughter ever asked me for a thong, but I was like, don't even get it in your head.
Right.
Let me just tell you now,
Exactly.
don't even get it in your head that, because it's like, I don't give a fuck what everybody else is doing. You're not about to do it. So it's like
Exactly.
you could be a parent, it's like, oh, I don't care if they wear a thong. And it's like, that's all up to you and your kid. But in my house, it's run
Hmm.
differently. Your kid
Hmm.
at your house might be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do and live life to the fullest. In my house, that shit don't go down. I run my house. And so that's my problem with all of this of taking the rights away from the parents once they get to school. Now, if you have a child that's being beaten or tortured or some shit like that, yes, step in and help that kid. But to me,
Exactly.
that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more people trying to indoctrinate these kids and push these ideologies to change. And it's like, you want to change the narrative of the world. And we should be teaching, yes, to love everybody, but you guys are actually trying to instill these beliefs in the children. That's
Exactly.
different.
We just had this conversation the other day with my son, me and his father. Like we were just telling him how different it was with us growing up and how
Right.
different it is with them. Like it's constantly pushed in their face. It's
Right.
constantly, you know what I mean?
Right.
And no one's talking about it. And it's just
Right.
different things. And deeper on targeting young black men
Yes.
and how another form of trying to break up the home.
Yes.
And back
Yes.
then it was with welfare and government assistance, you couldn't have the father there and this, that,
Right.
and the third. And they put them in prison and now it's more of, just think about a young black man, he's now gay, he doesn't have children, he doesn't have, you know what I mean? It's sad, but it's another form of what they do.
Right.
And it's sad that they target young black men.
Right.
It's sad. It's like another fight that they have to now fight with, because now they're thinking, am I, do
Right.
I,
Right.
what am I feeling this?
Right.
Things that, like you said, as a child shouldn't no child ever think of. But
No.
now as you're getting older and you see it and it's constantly on TV, and may have a friend or two who
Right.
is bi, gay, whatever,
Right.
and you're like, damn, maybe I am. And now you question, and it can be the simplest things, like the simplest
Right.
things. It's funny, we was talking about porn,
Mm,
and his dad was saying that, men don't talk about when they watch porn, and why, a lot of children shouldn't be
right.
watching more porn.
Right.
Like, it's way beyond the sexual acts. That's a
Right.
mental thing.
Right.
There's some adults who are not mature enough to
Right.
understand that that is fantasy, that is a job, that is.
Right.
But he was just saying, like, back, like, as a man, you get like penis envy because
Mm,
you see the
right.
the you know the porn, the men, and how they,
Right.
but not realizing that
Especially when it comes to black men, they find the ones with the like biggest.
and then they're taking shots and they adding the this and the
It's like,
angle. The angle looks a different, so now, just a regular
right.
one is looking, and
Right.
and there go the, and
Like,
just that, saying those things. We were just talking about that, and how
right.
a young black man can be watching porn and see a man and a woman together and maybe feel a little aroused, and may think, oh, is it because he's a man? Not realizing it's not because he's a man, it's the
Right.
envy of how
Right.
big he is, and you want to be big.
Right.
and
Right.
and and
That
we were
brings up a
talking
lot of
about that,
insecurities for them too, because then you start
comparing
comparing
and
yourself to other people. And we know that's a big thing with guys, period. Even just
hmm
amongst their friends, their puberty, if they grow slower,
hmm
their balls drop slower or later than the other ones, and
hmm
all of that shit that boys go through. But yeah, it's like that talk right there of just understanding that it's fantasy.
exactly. And that's the thing, no one's having these conversations with their children, so now these children are being pushed to make these decisions, or to come
Right.
up with their
Right.
own answer,
Right.
to come up with, am I gay because I
Right.
did get a little hard because I seen this, or is it because of something deeper and that you will probably
Right.
learn from another man, a
Right.
grown man who can tell you been there, done that, and probably had those same questions when he was a teenager and maybe thought, damn, am I gay because I just got a little turned on from this? But it was
Right.
more of the envy of the
Right.
size,
And
you
then
know?
also the sexual act, like you're watching sex, so it's gonna have your body, you're gonna be receptive to that too,
Hmm.
of just the act, not necessarily what you're
Right. And
seeing,
as a child, you don't know that. You don't
No.
have those answers.
Right.
So now you come up with your own answer, and 9 out of 10, it's the wrong answer. So
Right.
now where you like, okay, I must be gay, and that is the least of what it is. It's
Right.
so not, that's what that was. That's
I
a
think
whole nother,
the
and I think a lot of parents don't have these conversations with their children,
Right.
and they're allowing their children to find these answers through friends. Because even like I said, having a gay friend, you can have a gay guy friend and he'd be like,
Right.
yep, because that happened to me. That's how I knew I was gay. And he's wrong.
Right, right. The bat, and I was telling my daughter about this because I've known a lot of gay people throughout my life. And I said one of the things, because we have a conversation about this, and again, I can't say here or there whether you're born gay or not, because just of the people I've met on my path, they always had some big issues that pushed them that way. It was always some
Hmm.
crazy shit. And then they
Hmm.
always were destructive, where one minute they was all up on a girl, and then the second, then it was all up on a guy. And it was like, if you're really gay, why are you
Hmm.
flip-flopping,
Hmm.
But they were still so confused, but yet you saying you gay. And it was just like, it's look, it's okay if you really confused and you need to experiment. There's no problems with that as an adult. Like, I don't think there's any problems as an adult. Find your way, you
Hmm.
know. But when you got society saying this, and you got people pressuring you, and you got,
Hmm.
all of this, then you're like, I must be this. And then some people don't know how to come back from that when they're like, you know what, this ain't me. You know what I mean? Like, this
Exactly.
ain't me. And then all of a sudden now you got to keep up this facade, because that's it. I got to keep with this facade. But that's the bad part about it. It's like, look,
It is. These children are making the harsh decisions. They're coming up with their own answers there. And
right.
and that's, I think, which is so sad, because that's now something else. Like, we were talking about when we were growing up, we didn't see stuff like that on TV. We didn't really see,
Hell no.
like, if we did know the person, if we knew someone was gay, we knew they were gay, and that was that. It was never, the bi and the this and the that. And,
Mhm.
it was never those things. You kind of knew, and that was that. It was no big
Right.
deal. But
Right.
now it's like so much like younger. I've
Right.
done seen a kid, he was about 7 and was like, I'm gay. And he's 7. Like, how do you
Then
even know
how?
you're gay at
Right.
7? Like, it's
What?
just, it's exactly like, how are you claiming something and you're 7? Like, you barely can freaking read, but you just said you're gay. And
And
like you said, it goes back to that. And then when they
yeah,
older, they this, and it's just so sad that
right.
children in this day and age have to make those decisions.
Right.
Like,
Right.
those
Right.
are grown up decisions.
Right.
Those are grown up topics. As a grown up, you can
It's like,
maybe
how do you even
question.
know what those words are at 7 without somebody teaching you that, though?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I didn't, as 7, I didn't walk around like, "Hey, I'm straight." You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
I just
At 7,
naturally
we didn't, like you said, at 7, it's more of, yeah, we
I
I
had
remember.
crushes.
I remember at 14, I went through this whole vampire thing. And I loved the whole vampire thing. I did. I used to watch Buffy,
Mm,
and I was so into and I used to be like, I'm a vampire. You know what I mean? I
well,
was
shit.
13, 14, and was like, I'm a vampire, dressing like it. And, I watched all the movies, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay. But it was no harm done.
Right, 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 right.
These young kids is like, oh, I'm gay, and then doing gay acts.
The thing is, once you open that door, and we've talked about this on other podcasts, once you open the door, it fucks with your mind. And it's hard to figure yourself out, because now this door's been opened and you don't know how to react with that, because a lot of time it's not necessarily your normal, but now you've opened this door and now you're constantly confused and you constantly have to combat that. And I think it's worse for men, because women, we get to pass with all the bisexual shit. People don't care. But when it comes to men, well, nowadays it's changing because you see all of these rappers flip flopping real quick for a fucking dollar.
Mm.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother segment.
But it's like, I think it's a little bit different for men. And the thing is, regardless, once you open the door to something, it's going to be hard to close that door. So if you step in that way and you're not sure, wait, just wait and see, do you still have these feelings after a while? Because if you
Mhm.
open that door, it's going to change you. There's really no coming back. It took me a lot of years and a lot of healing to work through some shit for myself to finally get to a place to be like, yeah, that was never me. That was
Mhm.
a part of something that happened to me that opened up a door that felt cool in the moment. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's not me. So like I've said, it's just like you're opening up a door. And as a kid, you're already fucking confused as it is. You already don't know who you
Mhm.
are. And kids go through so many phases. Today you this, tomorrow you emo, you got
Mhm.
the next day, you fucking hood the next. You don't know what
Mhm.
you want to fucking be. So with all of those emotions all over the place, let's talk to these kids to be one, just value their self. Don't be just jumping into all this craziness before they should anyway.
Right, putting stuff in their head, like you said, it's brainwashed, and it's sad because it is brainwashed, and it's
Right,
happening, like you said, in the schools, with the teachers, on the TV, with it's just
right,
everything, and you just got to think about a child constantly seeing something. It's like they can't get away from
right,
that, so constantly on their mind, and
right,
now they get so to where now they're questioning themselves. They're
right,
questioning because it's just there. It's just everywhere, and
right,
it's just sad that it is definitely everywhere. And the minute someone talks about it, you are homophobe and you're this
right,
and you're that. The minute you talk about it, the minute that you advocate for your child, and the
right,
minute that you speak up because you are a parent and you don't
right.
want your child falling into, because a lot of it, I think children fall into this type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so, loving, and the community and the
right,
together that they do promote.
right,
So and want that. But
right.
you can have that. And there's other people who are together and loving and accepting.
Mhm.
It
Right,
doesn't be, like, it's just weird. And
right,
like, the minute you start speaking up, you are now the bad guy.
right. Everything is cancel culture, and I choose to be one of those people who don't give a fuck about cancel
Um,
culture. I don't. It's just like, y'all cancel me all you want to. I don't care.
mm,
I think a lot of this shit is too much. Like, even like when I was a kid, like it was like you didn't even give head. Like that wasn't a thing. Like we might have been fast and start having sex young, but we were not out there just doing everything. You know what I mean? There was a lot of shit that we didn't do. There were specific girls that did that. There were specific girls, and everybody knew who they were who did that.
mhm,
And then when the next generations was coming up, like my daughter and my goddaughter, who she's about 30 now, when they were coming up, when she got to like junior high, I remember her coming home like, yeah, this girl was getting done behind the bleachers and it was anal. And I was like, wait,
what?
what the fuck? What the fuck happened in a generation?
Mhm,
What the hell? And it just the bi thing got cool and all of this shit just became cool. And then you have people like Nicki Minaj that came out that's promoting the threesome kind of energy. And then you look at even these rappers, when you look at Nicki Minaj, who's now an adult, she now looks back and I seen an interview with her in a Joe Budden. She looks back and was like, damn, didn't as a mom now, she sees shit
mhm,
differently, way
mhm,
fucking differently as a mom. And
mhm,
she was just trying to make her mark, but didn't realize the influence she had on
mhm,
people. You know what I mean? And so you got to take that into accountability. You can't just walk around here and say, oh, well, I'm adult. I get to do whatever I want. You got kids all around you watching. You got
mhm,
kids looking up to you. Kids
mhm,
imitate what they see.
Exactly.
What's around them, the influence that they have on them, that's who they want to be. I had piercings, tattoos, right? I've always had those. When my daughter was little, she would put stickers on her nose and on her face and shit for the tattoos and piercings. You know what I mean? She wanted to be like me. Kids want to
Mhm.
be what they see. So you
Mhm.
got to look at that and be like, all right, where is this coming from? And kids are going to go through stages. Let them go through stages. But I think when it comes to sexual shit, nah, put the brakes on that. What's the rush?
Mhm.
What is the fucking rush? There is no rush to jump in that saddle.
It's true. To open that can of worms, it isn't. Because like I always tell people, there's some adults who ain't mentally to open to get, to get
Hell no.
that vulnerable and things like that. So imagine a child.
No, you're very vulnerable as a kid, and I don't I you have to be taught those things. I don't feel like you just know. You don't just yeah, I know I'm gay at 7. Somebody told you that. Somebody
Exactly.
gave you that word. You didn't just know that. The most you do is you have crushes on people. That's
Mhm.
it. You have crushes. I never had a crush on a girl when I was 7. Like that
Mhm.
wasn't a thing.
Mhm.
Wasn't a thing. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, I don't know if I truly believe that. I think a lot of people create the narratives that they want. And people think because when you hear anyone talking about, oh, I knew because I liked high heels and dressing up, any kid just plays. Kids just fucking play.
Mhm.
Kids don't give a fuck if it's dresses, high heels, whatever the fuck it is. They're just playing. My brother played with me all the time. It was just us two. That didn't make him gay because he sat down and played Barbies with me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
My grandsons used to always be trying to pick the Barbies off the fucking aisle. Why? Because they're bright fucking colors. They look, you know what I mean? It's attention grabbing. Did that make them
Mhm.
gay? No. And I think that's more of the conversation is stop pushing it on them just because they pick up a
Exactly.
fucking doll, just because they
Mhm.
pick up a girl's toy, or because the girl she wants to be. I was a fucking tomboy. Did that make me gay? No. I just like being outside and I like getting dirty
Mhm.
and being in the fucking mud and I like playing
Mhm.
sports. So I think that's where we have to take that step back and say, you're not gay just because you like these things. You can do these things too. You can play with the boys. You can go play sports and still be okay. You don't have to be, oh no, they must be gay because no, she likes the
Mhm.
bat,
Mhm.
and like for a while, I don't, I know it was a big thing where dudes didn't want to wear pink and the little boys couldn't wear pink. And it was like a whole big old thing with the color fucking pink. And it's like, it's a fucking color.
Mhm.
Like, let's just throw all that shit in the trash. Fucking throw
Right.
it all in the trash, y'all. So that's all I got about that right now. I know we'll have a lot of that will come up because it's just all the talk right now. It's all on the agenda right now, and it's crazy, and people are scared to talk about it.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
they're scared to say how they truly feel because again, the other people on the side are just want their way. And if they don't get their way, it's let's have a tantrum.
Mhm.
Let's have a tantrum and let's spaz the fuck out. Whatever, y'all.
Mm.
It's crazy. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a next one, you guys. All right, we're going to wrap this up and drop us a comment below. Let us know how you guys like the content. Let us know what you guys think about this shit. We want to hear. I know, don't be afraid to get canceled. You're not getting canceled over here. We might get canceled, but you
Right.
you won't get canceled.
Right. This is the place. This is where you can be vocal. You can say your thoughts, your feelings, like share your thoughts. Don't be scared.
Right. And I just be respectful. That's all I ask. Be respectful in the comments, but say what you need to say. It's a safe, safe. Sound like Jeffrey March. It's a safe place over here. I can't even fucking say that shit seriously, you guys. But all right, this is Real Talk Corner. I'm your host, Ariana the Quantum Healer, and my co-host Sabrina in the building. I don't really have an outro yet for this one, so bye.